Hello family and friends. Today we're going to be planting a mum, and I'll be looking at some different mums and showing you a little maintenance and telling you a few things about them. One thing about these mums is, okay, they're just beginning to open up, and that's when you want to get them for the longest, when you want them to last the longest. And if you have them sitting on your porch, you can get six weeks out of them when they're just opening like this. That's really okay. If you have an area with a lot of sun, a full sun area, you're going to be getting like 6 or more hours of sunlight, then this is the one to get. Now if you have an area with dappled sunlight, you want to get the ones that are already open. So what I did here is I pulled up a mum that was stressed, and as you can see, this thing is crispy and it's not really doing good at all. I'm gonna check. You can scratch to see if it's still green. If it looks slightly green, then it's still alive. I can cut that back, probably just trash it. But anyway, I'm gonna be putting this in that spot where I pulled that up, and so I come around to this other side. This mum here needs attention, so I'll be going through with the pruners and clipping all of these spent blooms, and as you clip them, the other ones open up. All of these little dots here, these are blooms that are about to open. And we're in the beginning of September, and the summer's winding down, and nothing says fall like better than the mum. A lot of different things for the fall to look at, but the mum is one of the most popular plants that's displayed in the fall. This mum here was on the porch. Was that last year or a couple years, Janice? Yeah, year before last. And when the spring came around, the trees, the leaves started filling in on the trees, and it wasn't getting that much sun, so we planted it back here in this bed in the backyard. So it's getting plenty of sun now, and we fertilized it right when I noticed that the little buds are there, and it's doing fine. It could be darker green. The leaves could be darker, but I do believe that the fertilizer will fix that. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant this one. Then we'll get back to the maintenance. The soil here is sandy, so I have some other soil beside the hole ready to go in. And in with this native soil. So what you want to do is dig your hole twice the size, and put your soil in, and pop this out and check your roots out. This does not seem to be root bound at all. It was just starting to get a little bit of swirl on it to where it's going around in that circle pattern, and they were just starting to go around in that circle pattern, but we freed them up so that they can stretch out in the soil and get the nutrients that they need. So while I'm filling this back in, I chop around the perimeter of the plant, and that guides the water right to the root system. And this one definitely needs to be watered because the soil in the pot was extremely dry, and I caught it right on time. So when I plant around this mum, I bring the dirt right up to where the root ball is, and the top of the root ball should be level with the grade. Got all this put in, and look, I got a few peppers here. Probably put them somewhere else. Those came out of another plant arrangement. See, when your soil is compact like this, I chop around the plant at an angle like this, and I find that helps out a lot, along with your soil, along with your the hole being twice the size of the pot with good soil in there. That allows your roots to move freely. And you can see that there's a lot of flowers that haven't opened yet, and this is going to be beautiful. And when I choose a mum, I try to get them with the buds closed and open just enough so I can tell what color it's going to be. Now, I have gotten mums with where the tag will say different from what the color is, but hey, that's neither here nor there. Every year I say, well, I'm not gonna plant any more mums because it's just too much work. But if you can make time for mums, just to go through with some clean hand pruners or some scissors and just clip back your spent blooms. Now, people that have nothing else to do but prune mums sometimes will let the blooms go into this faded color along with the full bold color that it's supposed to be. And knowing that I have a lot of blooms that are about to open up, I'll be cutting all of the burnt looking blooms like this one and the faded ones. So just clipping them, and sometimes it will seem like you won't have any blooms left when you're pruning, but it's very rewarding, and it causes the other ones to open up faster. These require 6 or more hours of full sun or dappled sunlight. We keep the soil moist but not soggy. And then as the temperatures drop and you get into the fall, you don't have to water as much. It's just a matter of checking the soil and seeing how dry they are. And with these mums, you water them, and you don't want the soil to be soggy, and you get in and prune, and they just open right back up. And if you notice that your soil is really dry and the sun is still up, water them from the bottom, because I've made the mistake of watering them while the sun was up, and they just flapped right open on me, and have a mum with a part down the middle. So I'm going to be going through and pruning all of my burnt and faded looking blooms. There'll be less blooms for a minute, for a short period of time, and within a couple days these other ones will open right up. So I'm just going to go through and clip them down the growth point, sometimes down to the next leaf. And as I scan across, I see a couple more to be pruned. See, in your mom, see, this is obviously one that needs to be pruned. You can see how burnt that is. And this mom here is a nice burgundy color. And with these, just before the blooms are spent, they have a real pale look to them. So I just clip those off, and sometimes I let them drop where they are, but you have to be careful with that too, because you don't want the blooms that you cut off to start to rot, and that encourages disease and pest around the plants. These will last until you get a heavy frost, and sometimes people will let the leaves not cut them back right away, and they let the leaves fall on the plant. The stems will hold the leaves and insulate the mum. I usually cut mine just before frost and cover them with leaves or mulch. Now this mum here has some yellow blooms on it, and this is going to be beautiful once it's completely covered. Very eye-catching, and brings some winter interest to the bed, some fall interest. You can see that these haven't opened yet, and it's really going to look nice because this is a real healthy mum. Some people call this cracking. It's right when you can see the color of the buds open up. These here look like they're going to be yellow with like an orange center, but before they open they look orange, and then once they open up they're yellow with that orange center. I think this is going to really be nice part of the bed. And what's good about them, in zone 7, these will come back. They're perennials, and once I get them positioned right in this bed, I'll have some fall interest to go with the other flowers. See, the impatiens that are in here, the sun patients, I'll be taking those out once we get a frost, and be replacing those with pansies. Now, the rest of this bed, I'll have to cut back these elephant ears. We have the colocaceas and alocasias in here, and we're going to be cutting those back, and this bed will look entirely different. But the good thing is we'll have color all year round. And through the summer, through the spring and summer, the mums look like little bushes. And then near the end of the summer, that's when they start to bud and begin to bloom. And this mum here in a different bed has more of a rosy color to it. See, and this mum here is burgundy, but a little more on the red side, and has a yellow center. Now these really pop. When this mum is in full bloom, that yellow center and each one of those blooms just pops all over the mum. They're in this bed here with some sun patients that have gotten pretty leggy. We'll probably end up pulling those out. I mean, the sun patients are right now probably like 2.5 feet tall, and they're kind of tired, and we'll be getting rid of these. I mean, they're huge. But back to the mum. Now, we're going to be doing the same thing with this mum. Just going through and pruning, getting the spent blooms, the spent tired blooms out. And as you can see, all over this mum, there's these little green, whitish green dots here all over. And each one of those is a flower that's going to develop. See all of these little dots? Those are flowers that haven't opened yet.